This year's summer experience theme is Tales and Tales, which means it's all animals all the time here at the Goffstown Public Library. Fittingly, I have 5 of my favorite animal stories to share with you today. Let's check it out. Hi there, I'm Michelle with the Goffstown Public Library, where I'm an adult services librarian. Thank you so much for coming to visit our library today. In this series, I share book recommendations for adults who love to read widely. Sometimes I share books that I have loved or am looking forward to reading, and other times I use my experience as a librarian to recommend books that I haven't read yet, but you might like. On this episode of Book Talk with Michelle, I'll be sharing 5 books that feature animals prominently. In some, animals are the protagonist, and in others, animals are just stand-in for humans. In the rest, humans and animals interact meaningfully. And what I love about most of the books I'm going to share with you today is that through stories, animals can lead humans to be the best versions of themselves. Sometimes it's just so much easier to hear a lesson coming from a cute anthropomorphic bunny than a human that you might have trouble relating to. Before I share my list, I want to let you know that today's video is part of the Summer Experience, which is a yearly summer-long program designed to encourage reading, learning, and play in all ages, including adults. You'll want to listen for today's secret code so you can earn points for listening to this video towards our grand prize raffle. Stick around till the end and I'll explain even more about how you can claim that prize, with or without a Goffstown Public Library card. So let's get on with the list. The first book I have to share with you today was my favorite read from 2020. The Bear by Andrew Krivak has just stayed in my heart ever since I read it about this time last year for the book club I run at the library. I've actually talked about it before on this channel, and I didn't know what to make of it because I just finished it. So you can check out those thoughts unfiltered in the original video. With a year of perspective, I can confidently say that this book is powerful and well realized. The story starts from the premise that there are no more humans, only 2, and it's a father and a daughter. The cause of the disappearance of humans, not explained. And even the characters are very sparsely described. What you learn about them is mostly through actions and how they interact with the natural world. Halfway through the book, a major change occurs and it leaves the daughter traveling through the woods alone through winter to get back to the homestead. The titular bear leads her through the woods and provides a companionship of sorts. I chose this book for a list of stories about animals because it's the bear who helps the girl resolve the emotional weight of the story. Although I wouldn't consider the bear a character, more like a force in the story. Based on the cover, which is full of constellations, and the guidance and direction the bear provides, I'm pretty sure we're meant to understand the bear as the great she-bear of Ursa Major. And when I first finished it, like I said, I didn't quite know what to make of it, and that's because it felt like the story was really far away from me, almost like I hadn't read it and just had heard about it. I think this is a result of the really impersonal writing, but I also don't think it was a mistake. The bear is borderline allegorical, so the plot maybe not so important as the lessons it imparts, and in this case it's about how to deal with loneliness and to become whole through nature. It's only 150 pages, and I can see that the author tried to prioritize that feeling. It's at least what I was left with, and it was a hopeful feeling. In any other author's hands, this might have turned into a depressing story, but at the end, I felt so good and happy to have read it. So if you're looking to experience that, I highly recommend The Bear. Like I said, my favorite book from 2020. I'll stick with fiction for this next book. We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Fowler was another book I read for book club. I'll preface this review by saying I actually can't tell you a whole bunch about it because it relies on a plot twist to keep the reader's interest. What I can tell you is that it's literary fiction about a fractured family dealing with the loss of a sister. The parents are distant and brooding, and the brother has turned to violent animal rights activism as a vent for his frustration and anger at the world. The remaining sister, Rosemary, has abandoned the words that she loved as a child in favor of selective mutism. And that's another thing I can tell you about this book. It is in love with words. The author must have had a field day with her thesaurus. I had to go to the dictionary so many times to find out what exactly the author meant. My favorite word that I remember from reading was refulgent, meaning shining brightly. And now that I'm thinking of it, that's a really good way to describe the missing sister, Fern. She really shone brightly in the family's lives, and now that she's gone, they don't quite know what will make them whole again. So you might be asking right now, where are all the animals in this story on a list about animal stories? Well, the brothers' plotline about the animal rights activism is a huge part of the book. One of the central questions of the novel is about the soul of animals. Why do we protect and prioritize humanity even though any pet owner can tell you that animals have lives and personalities and yeah, souls all of their own. The novel pushes its characters into unlikely or borderline unrealistic situations so they can grapple with that question. I mean, I don't know how better to put it. How do we respect the humanity of animals? It's emotionally satisfying, and there's tons to talk about. So if you pick books for a book club, or if you're a reader who likes to wrestle with those big questions, I'd recommend this book. On top of all those animal questions, there's also the conversation about how a family gets over a terrible loss. I'm thinking readers of Jodi Picoult will really enjoy this one. And can you believe this next book, also a book club book? Do we only read books about animals? Anyway, The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating by Elisabeth Tova Bailey is a nonfiction work, very meditative, and it straddles the line between essays and a memoir. The narrative through line is Bailey's struggle with a debilitating illness that leaves her bedridden, sometimes so weak that she can't even sit up. In an effort to cheer her, a friend brought over a potted plant and a surprise visitor, a wild snail. The snail takes up residence on Bailey's bedside table and becomes an unexpected bright spot in some dark days. The book takes its name from the times that Bailey, sitting so still, could hear the snail munching on leaves beside her. The creature stirred Bailey's curiosity, and she began many weeks of research about wild garden snails. So this book is peppered with interesting facts about the eating, living, and mating habits of wild snails. My favorite fact was that snails have teeth like sharks, which means they constantly lose teeth and grow more as they're pushed forward from their throat. So they just have a tunnel of teeth. So if giant snails were a thing, they would be legitimate monsters. What a fun fact to learn. This book is also enjoyable because through the snail, Bailey can contextualize her confined existence. It's the story of resiliency and hope told through the lens of a garden snail, a very unlikely character in a story. This book is a good crossover if you normally like reading fiction because there is that narrative through line and character development. But memoir readers, you'll totally love this one. Definitely go in with an open mind because I didn't know I needed to know this much about snails. But in the end, it was a good lesson about how even the smallest parts of our world are so complex and special. And that's some really good perspective to have. Editing Michelle here to let you know that today's code is romance. You can log code romance at goffstownlibrary.com/summer 2021. And remember, it's case sensitive. All right, so this book wasn't for book club, so phew, we're over that. I picked up Penguins with People Problems by Mary Laura Philpott because I loved her collection of essays, I Miss You When I Blink. If you're looking for a good set of personal essays, that collection, pure gold. But it had no animals in it, so I can't gush about it today, but maybe next time. So Penguins with People Problems was Philpott's first book. It's chiefly illustrated with amusing captions. Kind of one of those books that you'd buy at like a Hallmark or a paper store, just something to quickly read and put a smile on your face. This book was adapted from the webcomic of the same name, which follows penguins. She chose them because they were really easy to draw, doing people things that you can definitely relate to. Things like the perils of putting on eyeliner the exact same on both eyes, or getting caught with a bee inside your car, or how ridiculously costly good cocktails at a fancy bar are. The penguins feel your pain, and it's really amusing to look at the illustrations. I caught myself laughing out loud a couple times, which I think is really high praise. Philpott is just hilarious. And that's one of the reasons I really loved I Miss You When I Blink, which is a book I'm definitely not talking about in this review. So I'm not saying you should go out and buy the Penguin book. It probably isn't worth the money, even though the laughs, they were good. This is a book that you should find at the library and flip through when you have a second. There's no narrative through line, so you can read a couple comics while you're waiting for the microwave or you're going through the car wash or something like that. If you like webcomics like Sarah's Scribbles, Hyperbole and a Half, or Strange Planet, this is an easy win for you. And then after you read this book, Penguins with People Problems, read I Miss You When I Blink. Seriously, read that too. Okay, and speaking of Hallmark books, have you all read The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse? Talk about wholesome. If you have ever shared a Winnie the Pooh quote on Facebook, I would bet good money this book is for you. It's a chiefly illustrated tale about a boy and his animal companions in the wild. The boy is definitely of the same ilk as Christopher Robin, and the animals are a combination of all the best traits of animals from children's literature like Aesop's Fables and Winnie the Pooh and Charlotte's Web, etc. This book has childlike wonder in spades, only topped by sage advice. And you all, it's just one of those books that you want to look at. I would recommend this book on the drawings alone. They're beautiful. I didn't even think I had enough time to enjoy it taking it out from the library. This book I would recommend buying. So you can look at the book and enjoy the illustrations for as long as you want, and you don't have to worry about late fees. If you need some food for the soul, this book is it. It is just a joy to read. I cannot overstate how sappy and emotionally satisfying it is. The animals have unique personalities and strengths that help the boy grow, proving once again that animals can really help humans become their most humane selves. And there you have it, 5 of my favorite animal stories, some tales about tales. What's your favorite animal story? You know, I didn't even mention books like The Art of Racing in the Rain or A Dog's Purpose, and those are amazing. So if I missed any of your favorites, drop them in the comments, leave me new recommendations. I love to see them. As always, any book I mentioned today is in the description below, as well as information about the Goffstown Public Library's downloadable resources. You can use those to read books and listen to audiobooks, watch movies, and listen to music, all for free with your library card. And today you'll also find a link to the summer experience in the description below. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the summer experience is a yearly summer-long program that celebrates reading, learning, and play in all ages. I'm an adult services librarian, so I'm here for you adults to recommend that you sign up for this program. It's online, and you can earn raffle tickets by reading, which I know you do, watching YouTube videos, which you're already doing, other events, and some really fun missions. You don't have to have a Goffstown library card to sign up, so no matter where you're watching from, you can participate in this program. There's 3 grand prize gift baskets that are worth more than $50 each. They include gift cards as well as some themed treats. You can see all the prizes at goffstownlibrary.com/summer 2021. That's also where you can sign up. So head on over there and get rewarded for the reading you already do and the videos you already watch. You can log the code you heard today to earn your first points towards those raffle tickets. And again, that is goffstownlibrary.com/summer 2021. Like and share this video if you got something out of it, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got book talks for all ages on this channel, as well as teen life skills and author events, crafts, and more. We've tried to make it so all the things you love from your public library available online whenever you want them. I'll be back soon for another book talk with Michelle, but in the meantime, you can connect with the Goffstown Public Library on social media for more book recommendations, or visit us at goffstownlibrary.com to see what's in the catalog yourself. Again, I'm Michelle from the Goffstown Public Library, and I'll check you out later. Bye!